This is Renee from NewCatholicGeneration.com, where we bring you every Catholic teen YouTube channel worldwide, and today we're talking about types of Catholics. The ApologeticTechie is someone who's always online debating, or when they're in person, they're trying to hold back their knowledge on a subject which they see someone has a slight ignorance about or misunderstanding, or they're completely a heretic. If you have a friend like this, you probably held them back on numerous occasions because it wasn't appropriate to answer or inform someone at that time. And if you didn't stop that friend, they might have gone on a long rant that had nothing to do with your outing with friends or whatever you guys were up to. The next one would be the Next one is the Bible-o-brarian. This person knows every verse there ever was, and they are reading scripture all the time and always texting you on some new scripture verse they found, even ones that you probably have heard of, but they're still very excited about it, and they were constantly going to share them with you. Number 3 is the Converty Pants. Okay, yes, we love converts. Converts are the bomb. There are a lot of them on the internet, and I don't want to offend you guys by calling you Converty Pants. The Converty Pants, once they have converted, they let everyone know that they are indeed a convert, and they stop holding back those questions they had, those other ones that weren't answered before they were baptized, and they have no shame in asking those questions all the time whenever they all of a sudden think about them. But they are literally the sweetest and the best, so open to hearing your answers that it's a delight. The Dominiac, which are obsessed with everything that has to do with Dominicans. Do I need to say more? Liturgeeks, they are basically the extreme wedding planners of the liturgy. If you've ever seen those shows on cable television where the Latin Mass happens for these people, it is the big deal. It's going to be perfect, it's going to be down pat, it's going to be people's experience of it for the first time. So they are going to make sure they have everything perfect and Theo nerd, maybe they're a theology major, and they've read all that Thomas Aquinas, G.K. Chesterton, go to Mass every day. They are your perfect Theo nerd, and they are going to graduate with that bachelor's, or that master's, or that doctorate even, though their probably only job would either be to be a priest or to teach at a cool liberal arts high school like the Lyceum in South Euclid, Ohio. The next one I call TOBsessive, which is T-O-B, obsessive, is theology of the body. Love their theology of the body. Love theology. They will express a lot of thoughts on dating, marriage, conjugal union, what we're doing right and wrong, and what we used to do, like courtship and stuff like that. But then they will also talk about loving your body and being confident with it and lots of other great things. Following that, you have the Apparition Nuts, who know about every single public apparition of Mary that ever happened, and they have their own views about Medjugorje. They will happily tell you about any time of the day. They know the events of Fatima like the back of their hand, and they can probably quote and summarize every single message that Mary gave at every one of those apparitions. It will also be a top reason they give out when people ask why they're Catholic. The end of times, guys. Sure, we must always be on guard for when the end times do come. The end times, guys, bring up the end times in every Catholic conversation, and it's not a bad thing, because we are all supposed to be on our guard for when the end times do come. But like I said, these ones will have it on the top of their mind all of the time, and make sure to emphasize it to others as much as possible. Next we have the Tolkienites, and they love J.R. Tolkien like you wouldn't believe. Tolkienites have read J.R. Tolkien multiple times, and they can speak many words of Elfish, and maybe even fluent Elfish, and they even wish there was a Mass in Elfish. Then there are the heartbroken Benedict XVI fans. They will post a quote or a photo at least once a month of the Emeritus Pope to make sure people never forget him over there in the Vatican. JP2 The Max! These people are St. John Paul II all the time. They know what he said and didn't say, and they know dates, and firmly believe that JP2 has their back at all times, which he does. And they want others to join in and receive that same help from St. John Paul II. And so right when you finish a book you're reading, that friend will be right at the door with a bunch of JP2 books like, here, read. Next you have the Eastern Rite, who sing their own songs, and they hate to kneel or sit at their liturgy. And if you haven't heard Lord have mercy enough, or haven't said it much, then if you go to one liturgy you'll say it thousands of times, and when you go out you will have Lord have mercy stuck into your head. I'm Eastern Rite. I was baptized Ukrainian Eastern Rite Catholic, so I know. The newly scrupulous Catholics will be struggling with the discernment usually around the same time. They will ask you questions about very, very little things. And you'll see them at confession every time you go. Not just because they think it's a good exercise to do that for your soul, but simply because they are really scared. I'd even label this a phase of being a good Catholic. And it's a phase that should never fully go away. These next Catholics are something I'd also categorize as a phase. The Demonologists. They have seen every kind of exorcism they could find online, and they cling heavily to people like St. Benedict and St. Padre Pio, St. Catherine of Siena, St. Anthony of the Desert, and can tell you all about them because they struggle with the other side like demons and spiritual attacks. The pro-life Patriot. This is a kid at your parish who is involved with every pro-life thing that they possibly could be. Not that all you Catholics don't participate in pro-life conferences and the march, but this kid is leading the army. This kid could be like the Joan of Arc of your parish's pro-life movement. And their Facebook and other social media is way more pro-life than it is personally about them. And then you have the inner city Catechetics kids. These kids are cool, and they know how to relate to the tougher type of people in town. And they're never really highly vocal around other Catholic groups because it's not really their thing to talk around them. But when they get into that little niche of those people that might be a little sketchy to everyone else, they know just what to say and really go and have dinner with the sinner, and that is what they're good at doing. The country cats, those learning on their own, and they'll share what they're learning with you even though you might have already discovered it already, such as an insight or something, but they can't help it because the closest parish within driving distance for them just has a really unhelpful priest, so they're doing the best they can. The philosophical Frater is next. The philosophical Frater has read just about every Plato and Aristotelian thing that you can think of, and they love sharing these philosophical arguments of the ancients online and also outside on a porch with a pipe. Next is the advice column Catholic. They want advice on everything on how they live their life fully Catholic. Go you! They will ask about how to bake cookies in a Catholic way. They will ask about how to drive in your car in a Catholic way. They will ask about how to take notes in class in a Catholic way. They will ask about how to take a shower modestly. And just about every other random thing in your life you didn't think there had to be explicitly Catholic advice about. Then there's the musical Catholic who loves their psalms, and they've got their guitar, their piano, and they just sit down and play away to Jesus. They get offended when people don't like the guitar at Mass because it is their main way of praying themselves. And at the end of it all, they really believe strongly in simple joys. Lots of them can offer great insights on those things. The next one is the Gregorian Cant even. This person can't take any type of music other than Gregorian chant in their Mass, and they can't even turn on the radio in their car unless it's hooked up to their iPod with an endless stream of the Gregorian chant music. They've probably taken classes in chant and listen to chant as they fall asleep at night, and try to convince their new friend at the Latin Mass that Gregorian chant is actually the best music that ever was invented. On road trips, everyone will be like, let's sing some road trip songs. And they'll be like, yeah, let's sing Salve Regina. This has been Types of Catholics Part 1. Thanks for watching, and comment below if you've thought of any other ones, and I'll make a Part 2. In the meantime, check out newcatholicgeneration.com to see every Catholic teen YouTube channel worldwide. God bless!